2019 has been an amazing year for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we're gearing up for the biggest Wrestle Kingdom ever. So we decided, let's take a look back at the year that has been as we get set for the two-night extravaganza at the Tokyo Dome. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. I'm Kevin Kelly. Got my esteemed panel here, and we're going to take a look back at some of the big moments of 2019 as we get set for Wrestle Kingdom. First, I couldn't think of anybody I'd rather have with me than my G1 Climax broadcast partner. He is one of the all-time greats in the ring, the most decorated junior heavyweight tag team champion of all time, and the leader of Roppongi 3K. It's Rocky Romero!
Hello, everybody. I'm here, and thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about the year.
A lot of big moments in the year.
Huge moment.
And while we, of course, have Rocky with us, we're happy to have him here. We've got Chris Charlton, who, again, Chris, you know so much of the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and there have been a lot of history-making moments in this year.
A lot of history-making moments this year, lots more to come next year, too.
It is going to be so much fun as we take you on the ride for 2020. Now, the latest member to join our commentary team here this year started back in May, all the way from Australia, my new pal, Gino Gambino. Yay! Yay!
Hey, I thought we were going to get a round of applause.
We'll dub it in post.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being had. So what we want to do is we want to kind of take a look back, sort of month by month, if you will, and let's pick out like some of our bigger moments through each month, and then we'll have some fun along the way. We've got some surprises for you guys. We're going to test your artistic skill, and you're going to have to go on the spot. I am going to put you on blast here and make you choose who you think the MVP of 2019 has been. Don't give your answer now.
How many G's in Gino?
No, you don't write Gino. All right. Well, the year began, of course, in January with Wrestle Kingdom 13. And it was a huge event in Tokyo Dome. We had an enormous crowd. And what a night as we saw Hiroshi Tanahashi get back to the top. It was amazing, Chris, as history was made in Tokyo Dome with the Ace once again on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so many people, after he dropped the title to Kazuchika Okada those years ago, I think many people doubted that Tanahashi could be at the top of the mountain. But not only did he beat Kenny Omega in the main event at the Tokyo Dome last year, it was a proving point that Tanahashi can be at the top and that his philosophy of professional wrestling could still thrive.
Rocky, it was a reign that, as we'll see very quickly, was not what the Ace wanted it to be. But what did Tanahashi's victory at Tokyo Dome mean to you?
Well, I think it was a step in the right direction for the Ace, because for so long it was the dominance of Kazuchika Okada that just dominated all of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then Kenny Omega came and they had their rivalry, and we kind of forgot about Tanahashi. So it meant a lot to me and pro wrestling fans worldwide because this is the guy who took New Japan from the ashes and built it back up. So it was important for him to get this huge victory at Wrestle Kingdom.
So let's move to the month of February, which, as we said, means not a good mark for Hiroshi Tanahashi, but that's where we can bring you in, Gino, because obviously the highlight of the month of February was the victory by the Switchblade.
And what a moment for Switchblade, a man who came just freshly back from excursion not too long ago and was able to capture the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, something no one expected. I think the match was a bit of a write-off. Everyone was like, Tanahashi's going to walk into MSG as a champion, and sure enough, Jay White captured the gold.
Well, there were a lot of people that wanted to compare it to the Rainmaker shock of 7 years prior, but there were many that said, well, Switchblade Jay White has all the tools. While Okada was an unproven commodity when he unseated the Ace back in 2012, I think everybody knew that Switchblade Jay White definitely had every tool in the toolbox to get to the top. But his ascension certainly would be rapid and exceed expectations. The month of February also highlighted the return to the tag team titles for the Guerrillas of Destiny. And this began a year for them, Rocky, that I think has been rather underrated.
Yeah, it's something that's been kind of missed somehow, but I mean, they've been champions for a long time, and they've been dominant champions, and we've kind of all forgot about that until this recent last quarter with the World Tag League. But yeah, I don't want. We shouldn't forget about them because it is an underrated tag reign.
And then we were in Sapporo, and I wanted to highlight, Chris, the victory by Tetsuya Naito over Taichi. And there was a lot of symbolism going back to history with Naito's victory. Taichi did everything he could to try to unseat Tetsuya Naito.
Yeah, Taichi being from Sapporo, harken back to the 80s, back to 82, and the famous Sapporo incident with Riki Choshu and Tatsumi Fujinami. And we were wondering, what could this be about? And then here comes Takashi Iizuka right before his retirement, lays out Naito. We never thought that Naito could get his way back into the match, but not only did he went out Intercontinental Champion.
And as we also mentioned back on February 23rd, David Finlay, that's when he suffered his shoulder injury. And his return at World Tag League was a long road back, but certainly what FinJuice was able to put together in Finlay's return from injury and then winning World Tag League, I think sets the stage for a firm test for the Gorillas coming up at Wrestle Kingdom. Now, throughout this event here, as we look back at 2019, we'll be asking for some feedback from the panelists. We're going to do that in a little bit, but let's flash to our next month, because the month of March began the New Japan Cup. It was the biggest New Japan Cup in history, and it was the first time that the New Japan Cup let the champions in with one goal in mind. You win the New Japan Cup, and you get Switchblade Jay White at MSG G1 Supercard April the 6th. How did that sit with you, Gino?
Well, it's a little bit different from other years, but it was a massive moment. Something had to build MSG. It was sold out already because of Jay White's win, and everyone wanted to see the brand new champion. Well, that's my opinion anyway. But what a better man than Okada, the absolute top of the heap in New Japan in 2019, winning the New Japan Cup and going to MSG. It was a massive moment in history.
Rocky, we were there ringside for all the events. The stories of the New Japan Cup. There were quite a few impressive athletes that really stepped up.
I mean, definitely Will Ospreay was a big story in the New Japan Cup. Him being the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, being a junior, stepping into the New Japan Cup and doing as well as he did, that was a huge story. We saw the rise of Lance Archer. And really had an amazing 2019. And but of course, really it goes with Sonata. Sonata really showed that he belonged in that upper echelon. He belonged in the main event, and we almost saw him take the New Japan Cup from Kazuchika Okada. It was very close.
It was one of a great series in their matches that they had in 2019. I think Sonata is primed for a huge 2020, but for Kazuchika Okada in 2020, of course, the goal, get to Wrestle Kingdom as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He has done that. Will he still be the champion? Will he be a double champion? We'll find out at Wrestle Kingdom. All right, boys, it is time now to test your artistic skills. And there's a couple of different ways we could go here, Chris, with what we could draw. I wanted to bring some thoughts back to the first quarter in terms of perhaps importance and what might be illustrated with your best artistic skill. Let's draw what you guys think was the most important thing that happened in the first quarter of 2020. I'm not a very good artist.
I'm really terrible, but I've got a good idea of what my favorite moment at the start of the year was. There we go. A little bit of that. And that. And...
No.
Okay.
Gino, you can't draw that.
Ah,
You should...
isn't this 18 plus?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll get rid of that then.
Yeah. You can't put that bit on there.
Don't anybody talk to me. I'm really
You're really an artistic man.
I'm really concentrating.
This is better than I anticipated. Folks that are watching, please feel free
To draw.
to draw and share your artwork on social media. I would love to see it.
That would be great.
So-
see the best illustrated moments.
We've got some talented artists out there. Rocky, you're a musical artist.
Multi-talented artist. Yes.
Talented.
Yes.
You can do pretty much anything. Let's go to you first. What was your...
Well, I thought the most important moment was, of course, Kazuchika Okada winning the New Japan Cup.
Yeah.
And see all the happy fans. See all the happy fans?
By the camera.
That's the cup.
Yeah.
That's the Rainmaker. His arms are open with the rain coming out, and then all the lights.
Where are you in that picture?
Oh, I'm this guy. I'm making that one.
Well, you gotta have.
That's me.
Let's see. Which one was Rocky? Because Rocky's Okada's biggest fan and
Oh, sorry.
best friend.
That's me with the eye patch. It says Rocco. That's what he calls me.
He does?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are tight.
We're real tight.
All right, Chris, come on. We know you're a brilliant writer, but how are you as an artist?
And about on a level with Rocky Romero here.
so you're great.
Here is my picture.
I know what that is.
Oh, wonderful.
It's Iska's retirement.
It is indeed. So that's Iska there. That's his iron finger.
Yes.
And right here is Tenzan,
Crying.
who was very sad because he wanted to bring out for one last time the old embodiment of strong style Takashi Iizuka before he went mentally deranged. And it seemed as if Iizuka was going to reach out a hand, and then he bit at Tenzan.
Who's this?
And, right up here, that's Taichi. Those are his trousers.
The tearaway trousers.
Of course you drew Taichi.
What a shock.
Now, why is Tai Chi significant in that
Well,
artwork?
of course, last, if you remember, we had the whole goodbye Iizuka left, and he just left his iron finger sitting in the ring, and Taichi thought, I'll have that. And he stowed it away, and that came in handy for Taichi in the G1 against Tetsuya Naito.
All right, Mr. Artiste, let's see what you got.
Ready for the
I'm
reveal?
ready.
Revealed! So that's Jay White.
You gotta show.
Okay, that's
Don't
Jay
show
White.
us.
He's sad, but he's also happy. He's got a blade. That's how you know it's Jay White. There's a
Right.
blade. And that's me watching Jay White at home in Australia wearing my Jay White
I
t-shirt.
think that's supposed to count to 5, though. That's illegal.
Whatever. Look, anyway,
Wait a minute. I want everyone to get a look. That's Gino.
well, I'm realistic. I'm not
Wait a minute, who's next to you? What's
That's the TV.
That's the
Oh,
TV.
that's the TV.
I'm
He's
watching
got,
at home.
he's got the old style
With the
with the antennas.
He's
What
picking
year?
up New Japan World on the
on the aerials.
Your dad says, stand over there, play with the antennas. All right, you got it.
I got it.
Okay.
That's the title, and he's sad but happy.
He's very happy. And
What's that he's got?
A blade. That's
A
his
knife.
blade because he's switchblade.
a knife. That's one of the moments of the year, I think.
What did you draw? Your paycheck?
No, I didn't. One of the most important things that happened in 2019 was, for me, it started on a down note at Wrestle Kingdom when Kota Ibushi lost the never open weight title and suffered a concussion. And there were a lot of questions and speculations about his future. But in Sapporo, or in Osaka rather, the Golden Star re-signed a lifetime contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I think, for me, this is one of the moments of 2019 that's going to continue in 2020, 21, 22, and far beyond. So I don't think that one can be discounted, especially when we talk about his importance this year in Wrestle Kingdom. Good exercise, boys. Well done. I'm very proud.
proud of Gino.
Wow, that's nice.
With his old school TV. So we're taking a look back at some of the seminal moments of 2019 as we get set for Wrestle Kingdom 2020. 2 nights, January 4th and 5th. And then, of course, New Year's Dash on January 6th this year. And we'll broadcast it all live with English commentary on NJPWWorld.com. This is a great opportunity for those of you that have not yet subscribed to go ahead and subscribe to make sure you're a part of the entire 3 nights of Wrestle Kingdom and beyond. I guarantee you this year is going to be bigger than ever from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and this is going to be one subscription you're going to want to keep month after month. So let's continue on as we roll into the spring and we look at the April 6th event. I think that's the best place to start. G1 Supercard. Rocky, what did it mean to you, for you, to get April 6th? Well done. To get to compete at Madison Square Garden.
Well, I think for any professional wrestler, you think of a few buildings around the world: Tokyo Dome, Korakuen Hall, Staples Center. But of course, the one that goes back with so much history, and has just so much wrestling history is Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And whoa, did New Japan and Ring of Honor show up to MSG, blow the roof off the joint, and in our main event, my best friend, once again, beat your best friend, and held the IWGP Heavyweight title up high and really showed that New Japan Pro Wrestling is the greatest professional wrestling on the planet.
Chris, we got to sit just away from ringside and broadcast the event, the New Japan matches. What did that experience mean to you with all of the eyes of the wrestling world focused on Madison Square Garden?
It was surreal. What really surprised me was just the noise and the excitement for those crowds when an Okada, when a Tetsuya Naito, when a Tanahashi, when an Ibushi walked out. It erupted. It was a sound like I've never heard before.
Yeah, the energy was crazy.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
When I began, of course, in wrestling, I started as a fan, like all of us, and grew up watching Madison Square Garden shows. And then when I had the opportunity to announce from Madison Square Garden for several years, never imagined that I would return. But here we were on April 6, 2019, and once again walking back into MSG. But this time, for the first time in 40, 50 years, another promotion was in Madison Square Garden, the hallowed halls. And it was just amazing to see the faces of you and everybody that was in Madison Square Garden for the very first time, taking it all in, just blown away. Wow. We're here.
My mom came, my wife came, my sister came, everybody drove up, and my mom grew up in New York, so it was like a big deal to be wrestling in Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And just one of the greatest highlights of the year.
It cannot be understated what that meant for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I think that the U.S. Expansion in 2020 is going to be very, very exciting, Rocky. I know that you're kind of on the ground floor with this, and tell the fans a little bit about what we can expect in the coming year.
Well, I mean, the press conference that they had earlier, or just a couple weeks ago, I mean, we're going to be visiting so many different areas all across the United States, starting with New Beginning USA tour. We're in Nashville, Tampa, Miami, Atlanta,
Durham, North Carolina.
So, I mean, that's just starting off the beginning of the year. I mean, we're going to be all over the place, and we're going to bring New Japan Pro Wrestling in its form, the way that you see it here and you've seen it on New Japan World. We're going to bring it to you, all in the United States.
Well, we're very excited for that, and we know that the fans in the U.S. are clamoring for more opportunities to see New Japan Pro Wrestling live. Gino, I had a little meeting yesterday.
Okay.
I want you to know a fact.
I'm fired.
No. We are extremely popular in India. How about that?
I knew it.
I mean, again.
Yeah.
So we could be, who knows, maybe we go on a...
New Japan Deli, I'm there.
No, not that kind of deli, though.
No.
Well, of course, that was April. And April 6th did not mean that the month ended. Jay White, of course, began to rebuild and get some momentum heading into the summer months and got an important victory over Hiroki Goto. That was sort of the nadir for Hiroki Goto, who at that point, I think, began to really question some things and decide he needed to make some changes. We made some changes in the calendar as we moved into the month of May, and we can look at the debut, I think, of El Phantasmo as one of the most important things. In Bullet Club, it was a surprise to me, as I had known El Phantasmo from having competed in Rev Pro in the UK, and completely changed his wrestling style and his personality to fit the mold of Bullet Club, but he seemed to be tailor-made for the group.
It was unbelievable. I was in the UK in October last year, and I saw ELP for the first time. Beat a bit of an unknown called Rocky. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before, at Rev Pro, and it was the match, I think, that set the tone going into Bullet Club for ELP. He really showed something in him that made us believe that he needed to be in New Japan and in Bullet Club. How'd that match go for you, Rocky? Good?
Not so well.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I got my return on it.
Oh, yes, you did. Indeed. And then some. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So the month of May began with Fukuoka. And tell me about, why is Fukuoka and Wrestling Dontaku so important for New Japan Pro Wrestling?
I mean, it's been on the calendar for a long, long time, and it all goes down to our chairman, who used to be a long, long time ago the regional promoter for New Japan in Fukuoka. So he's carried that sort of local pride over all those decades to where we are today, and so many moments, especially for Jushin Thunder Liger, because he announced his retirement back in March, said I'm going to retire at the Tokyo Dome, Wrestle Kingdom in 2020, and so ever since then, we've been getting a little bit more emotional every time, and the last time for him to walk out in his hometown at Dontaku was something special.
Also in the month of May, Rocky, we started to see those mysterious videos.
That's right.
Which we didn't understand, nor did we know at the time what those videos were all about.
No, very cryptic videos, and then it turns out that this person, this Death Rider, is none other than Jon Moxley. Huge debut.
Huge.
What about the other debut we made? The biggest debut in New Japan history. Come on, have a think.
Should we draw this one?
Let's draw this one.
All right, let's draw this one.
Okay. Who was the big debut in May, everybody?
So El Phantasmo, I know.
No, not El Phantasmo.
Oh wait, I got an idea.
How do I draw pecs?
Let's see here.
And that's me, and I'm slim. Oh, no, it's hard again. That's terrible.
I got it. I know what it is. Got it.
You got it?
All right. Chris?
Yeah. May, I think this is right. It was the debut of the NJPW official English podcast, which you can get on all your podcast RSS feeds and iTunes as well.
Good vote. Rocky?
Jon Moxley.
There you go. Mox.
That's him right there. Doing his pose.
Here was mine. It was Gino Gambino.
Yes!
Debuting.
What? Oh.
See, he's got the BC, because he's in Bullet Club.
And that's the headset in my hair. It's such a good likeness.
And
What?
did you do?
That was me as well. I'm the fat one. And that's Rocky, and that's Chris, and that's Kevin.
Look at these legs though you got on there. What the hell? What is wrong?
Why would you do that? That's bullying.
You got a headset on?
Is there a bullying clause in my contract?
No, there isn't. All right.
At least I got the headset on.
Now we're off script. Now I'm all screwed up. All right. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Let's move to June, because my, oh my, not only did we wrap up the Best of the Super Junior tournament, when was your, wait a minute. We gotta go back. We can't go back. When was your big match?
Against.
ELP.
That one. The one that I won.
Was that in May? Or was that in June?
That was in May.
May.
That was in May.
That obviously was a huge moment for you.
Yeah, what a huge moment for me. I've talked about it a little bit with Chris earlier, but just being in the Best Super Junior again after 2-3 years off was just a huge kind of moment for me. And then I think wrestling fans kind of forgot that, because I'm always hanging out with you boys, that doing commentary, that they forgot that I am a wrestler, and
a damn good one.
and a damn good one.
That was, Chris, we had Juice Robinson with us on commentary.
Oh, yes, yes.
And we were literally on our feet.
Honestly, we were standing at the end of that night. It was one of the most incredible, I've been watching New Japan a lot as a fan for so many years, and then to be at ringside, you think the relationship changes when you're working so closely to the product. But for that moment, it was one of the best live experiences in professional wrestling I've ever had.
I would invite.
It was emotional. Very emotional. Yeah.
It was.
It was.
And well deserved. I would invite everybody, because one of the great features of New Japan World and the site NJPWworld.com is the video on demand. You can go back in the archives as far back as the 1970s, all the way to the most recent events, and go back and relive that special night at Korakuen Hall where Rocky Romero defeated El Phantasmo in the Best Super Junior
Give him
tournament.
his first loss. balls.
Felt so good.
Felt so good.
Amazing.
Felt so good.
So as we move to the month of June, we wrapped up an incredible Best of Super Junior tournament with a truly dominant Shingo Takagi.
Oh, man, you couldn't think this guy couldn't be stopped over all those matches from October all the way to June. Never took a pin, never submitted, just absolutely, and then went perfect all the way through the Best of Super Juniors. It seems like the obvious thing, the Dragon's going to take it.
And then Will Ospreay.
I will say this with my hand on my heart. By far the best match I've actually ever seen live in my life in Ospreay and Shingo. It was something that I think set the bar for any professional wrestler around the world that is what the end of a tournament should be. It was amazing, and for Ospreay to win, he slayed the dragon like we said on that night, and an amazing moment, an amazing way to end that tournament too.
And we saw the debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling of Jon Moxley in Ryogoku. What a huge spot against Juice Robinson.
Yeah, and they brought it that night. They pulled everything out of the bag. Juice jumped from the top of the lighting rig. It was crazy. What a crazy match. But of course, Jon Moxley ended up being the winner and the new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion.
Of course, Jon Moxley will be a part of Wrestle Kingdom as he could potentially win back and then defend the U.S. Championship on back-to-back nights, because on January the 4th, he faces Lance Archer, who is the reigning U.S. Heavyweight Champion, in a Texas death match. The winner of that war then faces Juice Robinson on night 2. This is the biggest Wrestle Kingdom of all time, ladies and gentlemen. And just the U.S. Championship being defended 2 nights in a row, it is going to be out of control. How about, though, we go from Ryogoku, the largest venue to host the Best of Super Junior final in history. Then, 4 days later, we travel to Osaka for Dominion. That's usually the biggest event of the summer, and this was just one of the many big events that we had. It was incredible.
Many big events in June. You think we went from Ryogoku, turned around to Osaka, then turned around and went to Australia for 2 nights. It was, that started just a crazy summer in New Japan.
And Dominion was the night where Kazuchika Okada once again reigned supreme over the Painmaker.
Right, Chris Jericho versus Kazuchika Okada, a match that you probably would never think that would happen.
Yeah.
Just a couple of years ago. But New Japan having such a great year in 2019, we were able to see it, and that was our main event in Osaka.
And it was Hiroshi Tanahashi who came to the aid of Kazuchika Okada after the conclusion of that match. Chris Jericho took great exception to that and issued the challenge later on in the year. So it will be Chris Jericho versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. The Painmaker versus the Ace on January the 5th at Wrestle Kingdom. That is going to be a very, very physically intense match for both men. We'll talk about that later on. As we, of course, we saw the surprise appearance of and the announced return of Kenta to Japan. That was quite a huge moment that has had ramifications throughout the rest of the year.
Oh man, so it's just chills when that happens, and me and Gino don't have much in common, but a fandom of Kenta going back from the Noah days is one of them, and just a phenomenal sight of him walking down that aisle in Osaka Hall.
And quickly on the Australia tour that did happen at the end of the month, that was very, very important for Australia and for New Japan.
It's important for New Japan in the expansion of this world domination that New Japan is planning, and it was an amazing moment the second time New Japan visited Australia, and you got to see me in action, which was, nice, I guess. Okay, so I thought it was good, but of course it ended with Robbie Eagles showing his true colours and leaving Bullet Club, turning on Jay White in Sydney. So we kind of worked out what he's all about, I guess.
Making things right.
Making things right. He's a good boy. He didn't belong with you ruffians and the Bullet Club. He needed to be exactly where he belongs, or exactly where he is right now, by the side of Will Ospreay and myself, Kazuchika Okada, in chaos.
What a boring group that must be.
No, we have a ton of fun.
I travel with them quite frequently. We laugh a lot. We have a lot of fun. It's a great experience.
We're all pretty cool.
How do you get Ospreay to shut up, though? Is there a trick? Is there a button?
Let's move on. So, one of the most one of the great experiences when you get to come to Japan is you get to try all the food. And, it's such a diverse culture here in Japan. You can basically, if you're traveling to Japan for the first time, or maybe returning once again for this year's Wrestle Kingdom, you will find restaurants galore. Anything you would like to have. This year, though, there's something new on the menu for your palate to enjoy when you come to Japan for Wrestle Kingdom, and that is the new pop-up cafes that are throughout Tokyo and Osaka, the New Japan World Cafe. It's a real thing, guys. This is a real legitimate restaurant that is set up all in an effort to promote New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can you imagine anything better than going to the New Japan World Cafe, sitting down, getting a little something to eat, a little something to drink, watch some of the action, and then, it's amazing.
What an experience. So Chris, I told you that I wanted to do something in related to these cafes, and I said, come up with something unique, a little game that we could play.
Right, so I went and I sourced a copy of the menu for the New Japan World Cafe, so we can sort of...
Can we order something?
Please.
Oh, you can. Nothing will come, but you can order.
Gotcha.
But unfortunately, I know you guys aren't great with the reading of Japanese, and this menu is all in Japanese. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll read some of the items off this menu, and you can tell me whether it's a legitimate menu item on the New Japan World Cafe or something that I made up.
Okay.
So let's see. First one, in honor of the man on my left, we have Kazuchika Okada's Rainmaker Beef Bowl.
Oh, you think that's real?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's real.
Why would you say that's real?
Well, because it is known fact that Kazuchika Okada will get a beef bowl on big match days. It's a part of his thing. He's been doing it since day one. His return to Wrestle Kingdom 9 years back, and that's what he does. So I'm going to say yes, that is a thing.
All right. Any?
I would agree.
I'm happy to agree with that.
Yep, that is a legitimate menu item. That's something you get.
1 point for Rocky.
World Cafe.
All right.
I'll keep track.
Rocky's going to keep track.
1 point. Okay, so we're going to move on from Chaos to LIJ.
Yep.
Okada to Tetsuya Naito. And in honor of his famous roll call at the end of the matches, we have Nosotros, Los Ingobernables de Hamburger.
Ooh. Hamburger.
Who's this going to, Kevin?
Yeah.
That's... could be. I don't know. I'm going to say it's not a real item.
Ooh. I think not too. I'm going to go with not.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's a real item. It
Okay.
just flows nicely.
It does kind
Right,
of.
it does kind of, doesn't it? I'll tell you what, I'll give all of you a half point. There is legitimately a Naito hamburger, but it isn't a roll call hamburger.
I gotcha.
It is Tetsuya Naito's family restaurant style hamburger.
Oh, the family.
Yeah.
Do you get to walk out on the check, though?
It was, of course, Tetsuya Naito.
I like your version. but-
Right.
It's like most Sizzlake's family feed bag, right?
All right.
Tetsuya Naito, famously, of course, he has lots of interviews with the Tokyo Sports newspaper in Japan.
Right.
They'll often inquire of his thoughts inside a family restaurant, and Naito will typically think of some way to evade the check so that the poor Okamoto-san over
So,
Write that down.
but you can dine and dash at the New Japan World Cafe. There's locations in Tokyo and Osaka, and they'll be open all through. When you arrive, they'll be open and available for you, and go and enjoy. So what's next, Chris?
Okay, next we're going to go a little bit seafood style.
Ooh.
Okay, and we have Kota Ibushi, the golden starfish platter.
No, that's not real.
That sounds terrible.
Starfish.
Starfish.
I would say no on that.
Yeah.
No, that is made up. He does
That's
have
1 point. Put my point.
He does have the Golden Star set though, which comes with roast beef and a lovely salad. So protein packed and everything you need.
There you go. You
Yeah.
eat that, you look like Ibushi.
I already do. Let's be honest.
Well, you have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head.
And a head.
Yeah.
And
And you're handsome.
I am handsome.
So, couple more to go. In honor of Gino over here, why not? Jay White's Switchblade Bullet Club Sandwich.
Oh, see, the club sandwich is popular here in Japan. I see it everywhere. So that's why I think I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say
I agree. I think that's
Bullet club
definitely
sandwich. Yeah.
And it's made up.
Ah, you got us.
missed opportunity.
Club sandwich.
How do you not have a club sandwich on a menu?
Club sandwich.
We have the Jay White's Switchblade Ginger Ale. You can get on the
Okay, who came up with this menu? Is it anyone that pays me? Because then it's great.
We love it. All right, what's next?
We're going to stay with drinks for the last one. We have Sonada's Cold Skull Cola.
Yeah, that's real.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think that's real.
Yeah, that is legit. Cold Skull Blue Cola.
Does it come in a skull?
Oh yeah,
It doesn't, but it's blue, like. Yeah.
We're doing the menu next year because that should come in a little
Gino,
skull.
I think you should do that.
I should do the menu. I should do the catering for New Japan.
Wow.
I know.
Bubba's Pizza.
Everyone will look great. Bubba's Pizza.
Yeah. All right, so
Who won?
I did.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
wait a
I
minute.
won by half a point.
Congratulations, Rocky Romero.
Kevin got no points. You got
What?
1.5.
Oh, well. It was, again, the New Japan World Cafe. I want everybody to go and experience it. And again, share your thoughts on the New Japan World Cafe.
Oh, perfect for Instagram. Take a little picture, put it up there.
Insta.
Insta by, they say.
Well, the month of July began with the return of the G1 Climax tournament, but this year, bigger, better, different, as we started in Dallas on July the 6th, and we were there ringside, Rocky, for the whole event.
Yeah, so cool for the first time ever, the G1 being not on Japanese soil and starting off in America. Dallas was great to us. What a wonderful city, and the fans were awesome. So many excited fans from all over the world came to Dallas, and just what a treat.
And it began with a victory by Kazuchika Okada over Hiroshi Tanahashi. We also saw Kenta getting a victory over Kota Ibushi, Lance Archer with the victory over Will Ospreay. And that was how their G1 journeys would begin, as we then would return a week later. Ibushi's ankle injury played a big role throughout the tournament all the way till tournament's end.
Yeah, it really did seem, and Ibushi said himself, as soon as that ankle went out from under him, he thought, well, that's it, that's my G1 done. And can you imagine how the rest of the year would have played out if he'd have lost that resolve and said, you know what, I can't continue.
Some athletes got off to slow starts that we were quite a surprise, including Zack Sabre Jr., Tetsuya Naito, and Switchblade Jay White.
The G1 tournament's always so strange. Some people start real slow and end up winning at the end, and vice versa. You could have a streak of 6 wins and then lose the next 8. It's such a strange tournament, but I think that's what's really nice about the G1. Everyone's everywhere, and then you finally get the best 2 standing in the ring.
And that would happen in the month of August as we concluded the tournament, once again returning to Nippon Budokan for 3 nights, and what a way to wrap up this year's G1 Climax tournament with the Golden Star standing tall.
Such an incredible moment. I know it's a sore spot for Gino, but everything involved in that. Hey, even Rocky got involved, helped out.
Yeah, that's right. He did get involved.
Legitimately, helped out legitimately. He was
Gotta clean up the trash every once in a while.
By the way, we just rewatched that match on JAL Flight.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that was...
amazing. So your experience, if you come over to Wrestle Kingdom, it starts with the flight. You can watch New Japan action.
And the biggest bathroom I've ever seen.
Yeah, Japan Airlines is amazing.
It was like an apartment building.
So we saw Rocky coming to save the day, getting Gedo out of the ring, but I think the Kenta joining Bullet Club obviously is a story that we cannot just gloss over, Chris.
I know. I mean, the man who was his closest friend, his only friend in professional wrestling, all the way back from 2006 when Shibata initially left New Japan and Kenta called him into Noah, and that whole takeover scene that really dominated. And for him to suddenly squander that friendship to join Bullet Club.
Don't roll your eyes, Gino. Come on.
But let's be honest, Kenta sits on the Mount Rushmore of Japanese wrestling. A man who made Japanese wrestling in the 2000s one of the most popular things in the world. Like, everyone was downloading a LimeWire, giving their computer viruses just to watch a Kenta match. And he chose the right faction to join. He knew for his star to shine, he had to join Bullet Club.
It was a month, too, that ended where we started July going to Dallas for the start of the G1 Climax tournament, Rocky. We then went, at the last day of August, we went to England.
Right.
For Royal Quest.
Yeah, Royal Quest. What an amazing night it was in London. Sold out, copper box, and a wonderful main event. Minoru Suzuki challenged Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Holy cow, what a night.
Yeah, it's been truly an amazing year when you look back at the miles that the company has logged with the new fans that we've reached from Australia to the United States to England, and of course Japan. And the biggest and best is yet to come here in 2020, starting with the two-night extravaganza of Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th and 5th, and New Year's Dash on the 6th. That's how our year of 2020 will begin, and it's amazing to think about where we will be 1 year from now, and the memories that we will have and the stories that we'll be able to tell throughout 2020, and we hope you join us for the entire ride. Now let's transition to the fall, and the fall of Tetsuya Naito and the rise of the Switchblade as the Intercontinental Champion.
Well, after Madison Square Garden, everyone thought, well, this is over for Jay White, and, you know, he's fallen off his perch. But look at that picture right there. It says it all. Jay White as the Intercontinental Champion, and now going into Wrestle Kingdom to walk away as double champion. It's just going to prove all the haters wrong, Kevin.
And it was the victory by Switchblade over Tetsuya Naito to earn the B block in the G1 Climax tournament that got him the title shot. He took advantage of it, no doubt, defeating Tetsuya Naito. Did you think, Rocky, at that moment in time, that while Naito was the first to broach the subject of a double championship dream, did you think after Jay White takes the Intercontinental title away that Naito would be in a position to make that dream come true?
I mean, initially, no. I thought, well, that kind of counts Naito out, you know, and so he's going to really have to come up with some kind of creative way to get himself involved in this. Well, but, I mean, Jay White, let's talk about Jay White because, you know, truth be told, I mean, he's had an amazing year. 2019 was really the year of the rise of the Switchblade. And he just proved it again. And what I'm hoping is that he will not walk out January 5th with both of those championships, but he very well could.
Could very well. And, of course, we will find out what happens the two nights of Double Gold Dash. But let's talk let's transition to the month.
Wait, we got to talk about Tiger Hattori.
Oh, we can't forget about Tiger. Tell me, Chris, about Hattori as far as the significance of his career. I remember him going back as a fan when I was young in the state of Florida and watching Masao Hattori as a manager, creating all kinds of havoc down Championship Wrestling from Florida.
And that speaks to how long his career was. If Kevin Kelly was a young fan and saw
the hell?
Mr. Hattori as a manager. I mean, he's just got realms of history as an official, as somebody working behind the scenes, as a liaison. You know, he's done so much, and you just imagine all the moments purely in the ring as a referee in New Japan Pro Wrestling and everything. If you go back through those archives, you can see a slightly younger Tiger Hattori.
Right, throughout the years. Have you met Tiger?
Only 27 times, but don't ask him.
Because he has no idea.
No idea who I am. That's okay.
Gotta respect the legend.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta respect the legend. We and of course, Rocky, that his officiating the last match in the United States happened on the incredible Fighting Spirit USA
Yeah,
tour.
Fighting Spirit Unleashed tour. We went to Lowell, Massachusetts. We went to Philadelphia, and of course Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, where Tiger Hattori's from. And it was just a really emotional night. We saw Rock and Roll Express.
How about that?
Their debut. That was pretty cool with Hiroshi Tanahashi. Rocked the night out. Just an amazing, just another example of you got to come and see New Japan Pro Wrestling if we come to your area. You can't miss it.
There's going to be a lot of great stuff coming up in the U.S. in 2020. I got a feeling we're going to see some special. All right, so as we get set, Chris, do you have any ideas about what we can do here next? I was going to leave it to the group here.
So many moments that we've already gone over, and Gino's been doing
Chris.
to me.
That's not Chris.
Nice.
He's got the lightning bolt on his head.
Wait, what? He's not Harry Potter.
Are we drawing each other? Isn't that okay.
Erase that. All right.
Jeez. So many great matches that we've already talked about. So I thought, why don't we have a little bit of a match of the year poll?
Ooh.
Right here. I know in the closing days of the year, there'll be our own match of the year poll going out on social media. Everybody can vote, take part in that. But let's write down.
We're going to do it like the Brownlow, 1, 2, and 3?
We'll do 1, 2, 3. And then
Yeah, your top 3 matches of the year.
Let's just your top one. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3, pajam.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
You and please feel free to share your thoughts as well on social media. What was your match of the year? Done artistically, of course.
Now, we're drawing it.
You have to
You
draw
can
it.
draw it if you want.
Oh, that's
I'm just
right.
right, I can't.
All right, we'll write it.
Yeah.
Let's write it. That's easier.
Now everyone's going to know I
I'll
can't
add a
spell.
little illustration there. I'll put my favorite part.
Oh, jeez, that's terrible.
All right.
Hold on.
You ready?
No.
How long does it take you to write something?
I'm trying to remember who was in the match.
Gino Gambino and
All right.
one person.
I'll go first because mine's kind of lame. Not lame. It was an amazing match, but I think back to not just this match, but its importance and what it meant, and that's why I said Okada versus Switchblade Jay White on April the 6th at Madison Square Garden. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship defended at Madison Square Garden, and Okada becomes the champion for the 5th time. That, to me,
Huge moment.
my match of the year.
Huge moment, yeah.
Too many great matches, though, to narrow down here. Gino?
Okay, I got 2.
Okay.
But the first one is Will Ospreay versus Shingo. I thought that was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in professional wrestling in the 15 years I've been part of it. So, but a little asterisk. God and Gino Gambino versus Juice Robinson, Mike Nichols and Yano in Sydney. Professional wrestling at its best.
Mikey Nichols.
Wow.
All right, Rocky.
I went for something a little different. One of my favorite matches from the G1, but also from the year was Mox versus Ishii.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was
Right.
just a really great match. And then I drew Mox on the table, and then Ishii did that splash.
Wait, show everybody.
That's a good spot.
That's Ishii.
That was one of my favorite matches.
Oh, that's great. Chris?
We already talked about it a little bit, but Rocky versus
Oh,
Yogi in
jeez.
Korakuen Hall.
Put some tears, quick.
I'm not pandering. I think over the course of such a short period of time, there was such vitriol and hate towards El Phantasmo in a matter that I know The Office got a ton of complaints from people. There
Very
was just
quickly, right?
Your friend, your mate.
so much. So many people despise El Phantasmo, and then you throw into that just how phenomenally athletic it is and how phenomenally gifted as a professional wrestler El Phantasmo is. There's no denying. Trash human being. Absolutely amazing professional wrestler. And for that to come together at Korakuen Hall, as we said, me, Kevin, and Juice standing on our feet. And I went back, and one of the great things about New Japan World, you can watch in English and Japanese. And I went back and watched Japanese afterwards. You always have when Liger is out there on commentary. You always get a gauge. He's a very easy person to gauge in terms of his reaction to the match. And the last sort of 5 minutes of him going, oh, that's something that is magic.
It was okay, Rocky.
Honestly, one of the best live experiences I've ever had.
Well, I'd just like to thank the Academy. I appreciate it, all of you, your support.
Well, as far as Tokyo Sports and their match of the year, that happened in the month of October. And that was a part of the card at King of Pro Wrestling. There were moments where a lot of us didn't think we were going to make it. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the big stories. Of course, the typhoon coming ashore just the days before King of Pro Wrestling, impacting so many lives and impacting travel. Just every bit of infrastructure was compromised. We didn't think we were going to make it. I got to ringside 10 minutes before the show started, and one man that did not make it, of course, was Jon Moxley, who was stripped of the U.S. title because he failed to appear. Lance Archer won the then vacant U.S. Championship in a match against Juice Robinson. But with Sonata and Okada in the main event for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, that was voted Tokyo Sports Match of the Year, and well-deserved. There was a lot of emotion, I think, in terms of that voting and the importance of that match that led to that vote. But one of the emotional moments of that night had to be Liger versus Minoru Suzuki.
Oh my goodness, the amount of, for months, and it really went back all the way back to 2002 and Suzuki's last match in Pancras against Jushin Liger. But Suzuki, knowing that Liger was retiring, wanted one last time to pull out that combatant, that martial artist from Jushin Thunder Liger, and really pushed Liger beyond the brink, beyond the point of no return. And we were sat at ringside in Kobe when Kishin, you were involved. You were supposed to be.
It wasn't much of a match.
I know Tanahashi was upset because he had his hair done up, but he had specially done for an entrance. He didn't even make his entrance.
Right.
And we saw Kishin Liger appear. It was the first time, since 2012. And then, of course, in Ryogoku, and you see the moment there when Suzuki, but rarely does he have that sign of respect. And when he bowed his head, in deference to Jushin Thunder Liger, that was, tear in the eye.
A rare sign, a rare show of emotion from Minoru Suzuki. How could we, in just a few moments, Rocky, encapsulate Liger's career? Can it be done?
It's so hard. You really think about what Liger has given to professional wrestling in so many ways. Obviously being a huge icon worldwide. The mask, the outfit, the music, and then you talk about all the moves he's created, the shooting star press. It's like, he's just such an incredible athlete and such an incredible icon. It's really tough. It's really tough. For me, he was one of the first wrestlers I ever saw from a New Japan Pro Wrestling videotape that somebody gave to me when I was just a young kid, and just a huge impact that he made on me, that I wanted to wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling in the junior division, and then I get to actually wrestle with Liger, multiple times over my career. So I don't know, it means a lot, I think, for junior heavyweight wrestlers and wrestlers worldwide.
The Liger retirement tour has continued throughout 2019, but the road does come to an end for Jushin Thunder Liger. He calls it a career this year at Wrestle Kingdom. The final two matches of Jushin Thunder Liger will happen January 4th and 5th at Tokyo Dome, and you can see them live right here on NJPWWorld.com. The first night, he'll be in a special 8-man tag, and then closing things out in a very unique tag team scenario on night 2 with sort of the generation past of the junior heavyweight division against the generation to be and now. And then, of course, the retirement ceremony on the 6th. That is going to be one you cannot definitely miss. Jushin Thunder Liger and his remarkable career. We could spend hours just documenting his greatness. And let's keep the calendar moving, though, Chris, as we head into November. And this was a big month for Roppongi 3K. It was a big month for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it set the stage for what we would be witnessing, what we'll be calling, what you fans will get to see at Wrestle Kingdom. Let's start with Roppongi 3K and what they were able to do again.
Yeah, nobody's done it. When they did it, 3-time Super Junior Tag Champions. 3 years in a row, which is unprecedented. And I just couldn't be more of a proud dad.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of crying.
A lot of crying.
I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
It's that time of year.
It is. We get
very emotional,
very sentimental on the holiday season.
That's true.
And of course, the biggest, huge World Tag League started in the month of November, and we were there. We were in. Where were we in November?
We were in all sorts of places. Osaka,
The big event,
Osaka.
Osaka,
Hiroshima.
and Hiroshima. We were everywhere in the month of November. But the return of Hiromu Takahashi,
Talk about emotional.
oh my gosh, I think that's one of the standout moments of the year, Chris.
Oh man, just the sound, the noise. You know, we saw the sort of the video appear on the screen. And you think, oh, and just the anticipation of, oh, that's just a video. He's not really gonna. Is he? And then out he comes and as manic as ever. You know, it's fascinating. He said afterwards in an interview he had all sorts of ideas in his head of, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then as soon as he emerges out the curtain, everything, his mind just goes blank. And you saw him running down the aisles back and forth, throwing himself into the guardrail, and then of course challenging Will Ospreay.
And showing that his neck was truly sound.
Can I just say, one of the best moments of the year is him asking for the microphone from Ospreay. While the neck was going, Mike, please. I think the greatest moment of the night.
It was, and as we sat at ringside there at Power Struggle, as Hiromu is throwing himself into the barricades, Ospreay looks over at us and says, I have no idea what he's doing. And I was like, neither do we.
Neither does he.
Neither does he. And this is where, after Jay White was victorious in his successful Intercontinental title defense, and we knew that Kota Ibushi had already secured his spot as the right certificate holder. He was going to Wrestle Kingdom to face Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight title, and the successful defense by Switchblade Jay White. So the question of who really, with three different men talking about wanting to be double champion, wanting to be the first IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental champion, that was where the double gold dash scenario came to light, Rocky.
Yeah, Naito saw an opportunity to interject himself and get himself back into the possibility of becoming a double champion.
It again now with what we saw in the month of October, it seemed like Okada was a little cool to the idea, Chris.
It did, yeah, and he would often say, I've got a gold medal. A gold medalist at the Olympics doesn't turn around and say, can I have a silver one as well, please? And you know, that all based on Ibushi saying, you know, hey, I hold both of these to the same gold standard. But at the end of the day, we're going to find out after January the 5th, someone's going to be the strongest, someone's going to be the best, someone's going to be the first double IWGP champion.
Let's move to the month of December, because as the momentum built throughout World Tag League, we saw FinJuice come out on top, emerging victorious in an incredible, very top-heavy tournament when you look at the final standings. But with GOD, Evil and Sonata and FinJuice all within 2 points of each other, and for FinJuice to come out on top on that last night, that was a great moment for me personally, with the celebration as Hontai came together and toasted with some Zimas.
Oh, no, they're good. They're sponsors?
Yes, very good.
Love Zima.
And we also saw Jon Moxley's return, and that was where he attacked Lance Archer and made the challenge for the U.S. Championship to be defended at Wrestle Kingdom, but then up the stakes, Texas Deathmatch rules.
Texas Deathmatch rules, which, as we've learned over the intervening weeks, that means no disqualifications, no pinfalls. The only way to win, 10 count knockout or submission on January the 4th.
That's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a long match too. I think both men are quite stubborn. I don't see either one lying down for 10 seconds or tapping out.
Keep them down for a 10 count or submit. We could be there for a long time.
Yep.
And of course, FinJuice will face the Gorillas of Destiny for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship on January the 4th. That's what they earned by winning World Tag
Let's
League.
talk about David Finlay, and like we talked about in February, he suffered this terrible shoulder injury, sits the whole year out, comes back finally in October to save juice, and then enters himself into the World Tag League tournament, and then they do the impossible. I mean, they win.
Well, look, it's a lovely story, Rocky. You're right. Dave Finlay coming back from injury.
Story.
I agree. It's a lovely story, but let's be honest, what they're facing at Wrestle Kingdom, at the end of the day, it is the most dominant tag team of 2019 in GOD. As much as we always want the fairy tale finish, at the end of the day, GOD's a big obstacle that they're going to have to overcome.
It's fair enough.
So with December now kind of winding down, and the final 3 nights on the road to Tokyo Dome, we have also the preview of Wrestle Kingdom to come and the 2 nights. So, Chris, what do you have for us now? What could we do next?
What could be the best way to end this off? You know, we went over the match of the year. Who is the person of the year? Who's the MVP in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Tokyo Sports named Kazuchika Okada as his 4th MVP win, first in 4 years. I got a feeling, I don't know, Kevin. I got a feeling that I know at least half of this panel's picks.
How do you spell Gino?
No, I know who Rocky is going to pick.
Oh, do you?
I have a very good idea who Gino Gambino is going to pick. I'd be interested in your choice. Okay.
Alrighty.
Hold on, I'm also gonna draw.
Yes.
We'll do this. I'm going to do this flip style. I like flip style.
Your drawing's as good as your music, mate.
Awesome.
By the way, Sneaky Styles.
Style out now, Spotify.
That was one of the big things that happened in 2019.
Huge thing, and yeah, Roppongi 3K, the theme song is available to you everywhere,
Right.
all platforms.
And RockyRomeroMerch.com.
What about our merch? We've got Burger Bros t-shirts.
We
We've
do.
sold 2.
Wait, 2?
No, well,
Yeah, you bought one and you bought one.
I haven't gotten my shirt, nor have I gotten paid. What the hell?
Let's all go together.
1, 2, 3.
Jay White.
Kazuchika Okada.
Will Ospreay.
Oh,
Kota Ibushi.
Wow.
I did the 5 this time.
You win. You win the
Finally learned
G1.
how to count.
Win the G1 Climax 29 tournament. That's why I voted for the Golden Star.
Best of the Super Juniors winner, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and the level and the amount of matches he's wrestled at the level he's wrestled this year, untouchable. All the way around the world, and whenever there's been a situation where New Japan has needed someone in a big match situation, they've called on Will Ospreay in 2019.
Rocky?
I mean, he's the guy who held the gold and at MSG, won the gold. And, you know, he had the best record, you know, in the G1 up until the final match with Kota Ibushi. Just dominance and really the gold standard of New Japan Pro Wrestling and the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
I didn't get to say mine. Bring the camera this
What do you mean you didn't
I
get to
didn't get
say
to say my
yours?
thing.
All right, guys, should we just let Gino have the room for a bit?
IWGP Heavyweight Champion. IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Main event Madison Square Garden. About to main event both nights of Tokyo Dome. What more does this man have to do to get your appreciation, Rocky? Tell me what more. Tell me a man that's
He
come
turned
from...
his back on his unit and his friends.
Tell me a man who's come from
For
excursion
selfishness.
and done as much as this man has.
I will give you, he's had a great 2019.
Did I spell his name right? I was really concerned.
Jay White. If you misspell that, you've got problems. My God. I'd love to know your picks for who you thought the MVP for 2019 was. Share it throughout social media here as we do our year in review. Chris, you of course are rapidly drawing something. I know you're a wonderful author. I wanted to know what you're sharing, what you're going to share with the audience.
This is telling everybody that we're going to be a big part of Wrestle Kingdom 14 in the Tokyo Dome, January 4th and 5th. Watch it live, New Japan World.
Who's got those eyebrows?
That's me there. That's Gino there.
Of course it is.
That's Kevin with his hair, and
With your hair?
Rocky with his beard, and they're all inside a big egg because the Tokyo Dome is the big egg.
Well done. Very well done. What have you done? Gino's the best. Put your sign down. You're finished. Oh my gosh. All right. Final thoughts on 2019. Rocky Romero.
You know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the fans who showed up worldwide to support New Japan Pro Wrestling. We really couldn't do it without you guys and all your support. And 2020 is going to be even bigger. I can promise you that.
Gino Gambino.
On a personal note, massive for me to come back. I never thought I'd step foot back in this company.
But wait. I want to give you some props because your whole career as a wrestler.
Yeah,
and
terrible.
But then being basically thrown in as a personality to become one of many fans' favorite color commentators. We got an amazing team, and I'm so. But I think you've done an outstanding job.
Thank you very much.
And making that transition, and people enjoy your work.
Thank you, and it's amazing to be part of this team here. And even though Rocky and I have our differences, it is nice to be part of a really great team and to be part of New Japan as they expand across the world. It's huge.
Chris, it's been a big year for you as well, personally.
Oh my goodness! I mean, taking on a big role in New Japan over the course of this year is something that, as a fan, I never would have expected to happen. It's been magical, and I think when you think about the whole wrestling landscape and all of New Japan's history, I think a lot of people will point to 2019 as the year everything changed. And I think when you think about MSG, when you think about New Japan of America and everything like that, when we look back in 20, 30 years, we're going to say, oh, this is the year that was the genesis of something incredibly new and incredibly exciting.
For me, I have a few, every once in a while at ringside, I'll get my phone out when something is happening or something is important, and I'll take a picture of it. And I look back, I look back at some of those pictures. And when we were together in Kumamoto, there were a pair of young fans that were directly behind us at ringside. And throughout the night, they were changing costumes as their favorite wrestlers came out. And to me, the kids that are fans of New Japan Pro Wrestling are the takeaway that I have when I see the young fans, not just in Japan, but all over the world, as they're coming out in droves to support their favorites and they're dressing up like their favorites. That's what we do. That's what we're doing. We're entertaining generations of fans all over the world. So I'm so blessed to be able to work with you guys and to be able to call the greatest pro wrestling on the planet, bar none, not even a conversation, and to do it with all of you watching as well. This has been a magical ride in 2019. The best is yet to come in 2020, and it begins at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th and 5th in Tokyo Dome. And as Chris said, we will all be there broadcasting it live, and we hope you can be there with us as well. This has been the year in review for 2019 from New Japan Pro Wrestling. For Rocky Romero, Chris Charlton, Gino Gambino, I'm Kevin Kelly. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you at the Tokyo Dome.